Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, it's Regit and it's a beginnery day because it's time to return to the second series of the beginner account. Today, what we will be attempting to complete at least is our very first zombie outbreak. That is correct, of course. Since update 5.6 of the Battle Cats, we have had zombies appearing in Empire of Cats. And now that in the beginner account we've done Empire of Cats Chapter 1, there are outbreaks appearing in it, and all that is left to do, really, is to give it a go. So the outbreak that we will be trying to complete is in Sahara. If you don't know about the outbreaks, they are basically randomly selected out of the levels you haven't already completed an outbreak on. So I've done none of the outbreak stages so far, so it chose from all 48, technically 47, because it isn't going to do the moon until last. But it chose between those and gave me Sahara, and Sahara has a purple glow, there's an outbreak sign, and also the purple mist around the cat on the world. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting together a slot that will help us deal with the zombies within the level. Now, a few facts about zombies. They can burrow under the ground and then appear on a little further down the battlefield, and while they're underground you can't attack them. And also, when you kill them, they'll turn into a corpse that will eventually revive. Now, with most zombies, at least the ones we'll be dealing with here, they can burrow as many times as they want, and they can revive once. So we need to be careful about that. And so what we're going to do is make sure that our slot has got things which will be useful for that. So given that we don't really have that many cats to use, I've gone with my first slot because the other slots have Monaco in them. And now Monaco isn't going to be very useful for this because you can't use Monaco often, and they're just for critical attacks really, which we won't need in these levels because zombies aren't any more damaged by critical attacks, or at least, you know, in the ways that metals are, they don't have that effect. So, I've got along with me some cat spam. We also have Brave Cat and the Brr Cats for red enemies. Again, might not be useful, but who knows? There are occasionally some normal enemies in the outbreak areas. And also we have our Legs Cat, Cow Cat, UFO Cat, Whale Cat, Dragon Cat and Titan Cat. That should be fine, hopefully, be able to deal with the zombies. I have not yet tried an outbreak stage with lower level cats, so I don't know how this is going to pan out. But I guess we'll see. So we're going to press attack, and into the battle we go. So in the outbreak stages, the background turns into a sort of weird green and spooky graveyard. And the levels sort of try and represent what the level was, just with zombies in it. So this one has some those guys. We're going to bring out Legs Cam, also the Giraffe Cat, to try and quickly deal with those guys so that they don't cause too much trouble. And we're going to use this opportunity to upgrade the Worker Cat in anticipation of the zombies when they come out of the base. Now, this being Chapter 1, hopefully it won't be too difficult, but I'm not going to rule out the equation to be too difficult to defeat. I honestly have no idea. I feel like our army's been a bit too quick in getting to the base, but we're nearly at max monies for this level anyway, so we'll just spawn in a Titan, a Dragon, a Whale, UFO, and start cat spamming to protect them. And out comes a bar. So at the moment, no zombies. I imagine they'll come out a little bit later or when we crash into the base. And here we go. Here's our first zombie enemy. That is Zori, a zombie gory. You can see he was quite fast there, burrowing under. And there we go. He's in the middle of my cats. And you can immediately see how powerful he is. It's important that we cat spam as best we can, because there's actually two of them. I didn't realise, and we need to get our tank units as much as we can. It's important. Oh dear, there are three of them. That is very bad. But Titan, luckily, was at the base and managed to destroy it before the Zoris got through our cats, which they were going to do. We weren't strong enough to defeat them, but luckily Titan was there destroying the base anyway, while the zombie was halfway down the field destroying us. So you see that adds another level to the combat of Battle Cats, having to look in two places at once. It gets very confusing, well at least for me it does, and makes it a lot more difficult than a normal battle. But we've done it! That is an outbreak area secured. We no longer have to do anything outbreak-wise on Chapter 1 Sahara, and that's 10 cat food for us. We won't be spending cat food in the series, but it's nice to have. And now for the rest of the video, I'm going to be actually making our way a little bit through into the future for a very good reason, which I'll explain in the next beginner account video. But I feel like it's going to be important for us to make our way through here, and I'm doing it in a video because the Into the Future levels are going to be a little bit more exciting than the current Empire of Cats ones, because even in Chapter 2, they are still a little bit easy with all the treasure that we've got. So, Korea, let's have a look-see what's in Korea for us. Right, it's a field, which is interesting. The last level was an underwater paradise, but here it's a good old field. I'm going to start by upgrading the worker cat. Don't really know what to expect. Okay, it's a snatch. Nothing much to worry about. In fact, I won't even spawn a tank cat yet. I'll just wait. That's fine. Doesn't even matter. In fact, I'm going to wait. I'll wait until the snatch is right next to my base. What are you going to do about it? Not much. Not much at all. There's nothing you can really do. Well, actually, there's a little bit you can do, which is why we brought along Legs Cat to hopefully deal some decent damage to these guys. Make sure that they don't do too much damage to us, or ideally, no damage at all. So we'll just stick along like this, upgrading our worker cat for a while. This is probably overkill, but just in case, I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to make a jump cut until something more interesting happens. Here is something semi-interesting. It's another Shibalian, which we saw in the first level, which is, of course, the alien Doge, but I feel like the cats that we have should be fine against it. Of course, it's a lot more hard to deal with than a normal Doge, but yet not too difficult as Doges go. They're all pretty easy enemies. This one's just a little bit tankier and stronger than the other Doges, but no trouble, no trouble. And we've got 25,000 XP from that for doing it in decent time, which is quite good. And an inferior ginseng root. Excellent. Next up is China, which seems to be a ruin, unfortunately. Don't know what's happened to China, maybe Trump. Anyway, the Great Wall seems to have survived, and there are Battle Cats enemies coming from it, so this is rather a post-apocalyptic world. But anyway, we'll wait for them to get near our base and do the same sort of thing, or rinsing and repeating with our wall cat here. Now there's a BB bunny, so we have to be a little bit more worried. We'll use our anti-red cats to easily deal with that one, and then we should just be able to do the rinse and repeat thing, which is going to be even easier because we've got such a long distance between the bases. That page that's now here is going to take a while to get over here. However, there is another BB bunny, which is a lot faster than the page, so I guess we'll just start our attack now with a whale cat, who's also good against red enemies, and a dragon cat, and we'll use some cats to protect them. There's also a Jackie Peng running along, doing a bit of a flippy action. There's a zombie version of the Jackie Peng, which I'm sure will come out in some of the outbreak stages as well. It's got a big hole in its chest, poor thing. We call it the Manic Peng for some reason. But anyway, that's the page gone. It wasn't too strong, and neither was the Jackie Peng. That seems remarkably easy. Our giraffe cat now running up to the forefront of the battle to try and whack his head away and do some quick damage and help us win the stage quite easily. It seems as if this stage consists of repeated pages and Jackie Pengs, but no trouble. I think they won't get any trouble at all. There's a Gory there, but I think he's already too late. And we've already beaten the level, and that must have been a good score. A speed up for us, and a normal panda cub treasure. In Mongolia, there's a sort of stony silence. Oh no! Interrupted by Babar, moving quite slowly. I've got maxed monies. I should always monitor that. Make sure, when you're upgrading your worker cat and trying to get more monies, that you do upgrade your worker cat and don't get capped out. I do that all too often. People shout at me all the time. It's useful to be able to get up your monies, especially when there's going to be a big wave of bosses. In fact, there's a technical Battle Cats, or maybe games in general, term for doing that, building up your forces for a big boss wave, and it's called power creeping. So you basically work up your worker cat, get a large selection of your strong cats and stuff, and then hit the base, try to defeat the bosses that come out of it. That is called power creeping, which works very well when the bosses come out when you hit the base. Less so when they're on a timer, so for example like the Barbar that came out after a certain number of seconds, it doesn't work as well with that. But when you hit the base and there's a strong boss, it's good to work cats up for when it gets there. Now, I haven't prepared for these Shibalians too well, which is why we didn't kill the base in that one fell swoop there, but 2 Shibalians, even though it's double as many as we've seen before, isn't going to be too much of a problem, and one is already gone, I believe, and the other one is soon to follow. Yep, that's gone, just one Babar, and that's it. The base of Mongolia is gone, rewarding us with 30,000 XP. Lovely. Russia's all very snowy, and you know what? Let's go for the essence of speed in Russia to prove my point. We're just going to try and do this level as quickly as we can, and not worry about power creeping this time. There is a BB Bunny, but I reckon Giraffe Cat by himself should eventually be able to dispatch a BB Bunny, as we see there. And yeah, I'm going to upgrade the Worker Cat now and then as well, get some of my expensive cats. We'll just see how well we do by running forward at the base. And our boss, it seems, is a seal. You can tell if it's a boss by if the wave knocks you back. Now, there may be many instances of it, but in these levels, if an enemy comes out of the base and it knocks your cat back in a shockwave, that is likely to be the boss of the level. So what we're going to want to use here is Whale Cat and his friends, because they're good against red enemies, and not really worry about the other enemies. They'll all sort of clump together in the same area, so any cats that have area attack will just attack both the seal and that. But the seal is dispatched with now, so yeah, that worked out fine. Running out the base and doing it quickly can work. It can end in disaster sometimes, but in these levels, it's unlikely to. Later levels, you need to employ a lot more strategy. I'm thinking levels like the Infected King, unless you have Mighty Bomber, and other levels like that. But these sort of Empire Cats into the future levels, unless they're the Moon ones and Great Abyss and stuff like that, they're usually pretty easy to deal with. So that's Russia done. We got the fancy music in Norway and the forest. I like the fancy music. There's also a fish that's come to greet us and an immediate hippo. Well, what are we going to do with you, immediate hippo? I'm not too sure. Well, you know what we could do? We could bring out a dragon. Yeah, let's bring out a dragon. And watch the dragon defeat the hippo as is, without any other cats to protect it. It probably will. This isn't advisable because you want other cats to soak up hits, but the dragon is strong enough to where it's defeated the hippo all by itself. Well done, dragon. There is, however, another hippo, so we'll protect our dragon this time with the giraffe cat. We'll hopefully do some fast hits, and then we can get another one because the recharge time is actually pretty good for our giraffe cat, which is excellent news. We'll also bring in a scary titan. There we go, scared off the hippo almost immediately. And we'll release our cat cannon to try and, well, scare that hippo. They all seem to be thoroughly scared. Looks like we're already on the base, and look! The boss of this level is a hippo! Now you may be wondering, Regit, you said exactly the same thing. Well, yes. This alien hippo is spelled Hyppoh, and it's got a what's known as that on its head. That. Very strange Battle Cats lore, but anyway, it's also got many different tongues, and this is a prime example of an enemy that you need to power creep with. You need to be able to build up your resources to be able to effectively deal with Hippo. Now, this hasn't worked out as an attempt, so what I can do is pause the level, and if you're on iOS, not sure how this works on Android, but if you get rid of the app out of memory, you can do what's called force closing, and then you can re-enter the app. It will ask you if you want to continue with the battle you started, and you click yes. This isn't really, as far as I know, considered illegal in the game because there are levels called no continue stages where you can't do this. So I believe it's a feature that Ponos wants you to be able to do, I guess. Because as long as you stop the level before you lose, you can start it right from the start again. And so now, that's what we're going to do. So once we've reloaded the app, it says there is currently a battle in progress, do you want to continue? And if we click yes, it brings us back into our battle at the very start of it so that we can try again. So what we're going to do this time is try our very best to power creep. So this first hippo, we're going to allow it to get close to our base. We're also going to work up our worker cat so that we can build up as many monies as we can and effectively deal with the hippo, because the hippo is actually quite a strong enemy, really. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go for tank cats and our whale cat, and that will hopefully deal with the hippo, but slowly enough that we'll be able to power creep towards the base and not win. And there we go, that's the first hippo down. And so now I won't spawn any more cats, so that when we get to the next hippo, hopefully that hippo will push us back towards our base so that we don't get to theirs too quickly. And as you can see, its bite there took my whale back. Now, it may be that we defeat this hippo, but my protective cat spam meat shielding is already destroyed now, and so my whale cat will be soon as well, and there's another hippo, so we should be fine in that respect. Again, I've forgotten to upgrade my worker cat. Always remember to do that. I'm going to pretend that me not doing it is deliberate when it's just me forgetting, but always remember to upgrade your worker cat. That allows you to save up more and therefore have more to spend on your cats. So we'll rinse and repeat and do exactly the same thing. We'll go for a tank cat, and this time we'll go for our legs cat. Those are quite beefy, those guys. They survived a hit, but they're not going to survive a second, and so we're just going to do this. We're going to bring out a tank cat and also a macho cat, just to protect our legs cat and defeat the hippo, build up loads of monies, and get ready for the onslaught of the hippo. Right, our monies are maxed, so what I'm going to do is bring out Titan, Dragon, Whale, UFO, and a little bit later we'll do Giraffe. Actually, it doesn't really matter because we've got enemies there. It's not going to run forward too far. And so yeah, we're going to now bring out loads of other cat spammy stuff as well, so that we're well prepared for when the hippo comes out, because it's not just about brute force, it's about protecting your brute force as well. So I don't know how well this will go. Of course, we can see it's a boss because it's shockwaved us and knocked us back. It does a lot of damage to our cats, but hopefully with the amount of cats we have, we will be able to defeat it. And if we can't, we know well that this is a level that we can't really do at the moment, and we should work on gathering treasure in other chapters, because all treasure that you get works throughout the game wherever you are, and then come back to it at a later date. But the cats that we have seem to be staying put quite well. As long as we have our tank cat and our macho cat out in force, we might be able to deal with a hippo, although there's no way of knowing at the moment how much health it has. We just have to hope, with our cats hitting away at it, that we will do decently well. Luckily, the hippo's coming out of the base and giving us a source of revenue. We've knocked back hippo. I don't know how many knockbacks it has, though, because how many knockbacks an enemy has dictates how much of its health you've got rid of per knockback. So, for example, if it has one knockback, that will be a knockback upon death, I believe. So you've killed it when you knocked it back. Or, if it knocks back and then dies the next time, you've got rid of 50% of its health if you knocked it back, and so on. And different enemies have loads of different types of knockback. So I don't know what it is for the hippo. We just have to wait. There we go. It was one knockback before death. So one knockback and then it dies the next one it has. And we defeated it, just about. It was a lot more difficult level than the last one. But that means we've successfully completed Norway in Into the Future. And I'd call that a pretty good run for the episode. And look at that, superior treasure, so we don't have to fight the hippo again. I hope you enjoyed.